Chapter 91, Empty the Spiritual Veins. Throw money around. Throw money around. Throw money around Lee. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It wasn't long before he reached the depths of the cave. There was no way out, and a wide river appeared in front of him, making a gurgling sound of flowing water, rushing endlessly, flowing towards the distance. The river water was not ordinary water, but silver white, shining brightly, as if it was flowing silver, with white mist floating on it, and rich spiritual energy filling the nose. This was because there were too many spiritual stones, rolling and flowing, and the visual appearance was like a big river. Found it, Su Chang'e laughed loudly, and was overjoyed. He took a deep breath of spiritual energy, and immediately felt refreshed, and the solid shackles of cultivation in his body actually loosened faintly. To break through. He quickly found a place to sit down. Bang! As soon as he sat down, a bang was heard. The rich and abundant spiritual energy directly raised his cultivation and began to break through crazily. Half-step supernatural power. The first level of supernatural power. The third level of the divine power realm. The fifth level of the divine power realm. The seventh level of the divine power realm. The eighth level of the divine power realm. The ninth level of the divine power realm. The sixth level of the void god realm, divine martial arts, divine power, divine gang, divine power, divine domain, and divine luo. Just by breathing in the spiritual energy here, his cultivation level instantly soared by 9 levels, reaching the 9th level of the divine power realm. This is so awesome. Next, he looked at the flowing river of spiritual stones, and his spiritual sense swept over it. A rough estimate is that there are more than 1 billion. Pack it quickly, that he could no longer control his image, and directly revealed his true form and turned into a bandit. He picked up the sack and started to pack it frantically. Nonsense, seeing a flowing river of RMB, you are not excited, and don't rob money? Su Chang'e pretended hard, and pretended desperately. He was not even satisfied, and plunged into the spiritual vein to plunder frantically, but while pretending, he suddenly realized something and raised his eyebrows fiercely. This spiritual stone, why is it only a medium-grade spiritual stone? Looking around, although the spiritual energy here is rich, the spiritual stones produced are only medium grade, which is only a little higher than the low grade. This is a flaw in the ointment. Damn, it would be great if they were all high-grade spiritual stones, or even top-grade spiritual stones, but he slapped his forehead and suddenly understood. It is worthy of being a large spiritual vein. If it is a large spiritual vein, the quality of the spiritual stones produced may be high. Spiritual veins are divided into 4 levels, just like spiritual stones, divided into low grade, medium grade, high grade, and top grade. This large spiritual vein in front of him belongs to the level of medium grade spiritual veins. How can the devourer have a noble bloodline to absorb such a low grade spiritual stone? To be honest, Su Chang'e himself does not like such spiritual stones, so how could he let the devourer absorb them? But this does not bother him at all. Low quality. It doesn't matter, just use the system to brush the quality. Think about it, if you give all these spirit stones away and use the system subsidies, you will definitely get high-quality spirit stones. Then let the devourer absorb them. Isn't it perfect? As for who to give these low-level spirit stones to, the master has a high level of cultivation, and he must not look down on this kind of spirit stones. The most important thing is that I can't afford it. The 50 denomination green RMB is definitely not as impressive as the 100 denomination red bills. Su Chang'e thought while filling it up frantically. Soon, the storage bag was full. He changed to another storage bag and continued to fill it up. Fortunately, he killed so many people before and searched out so many storage bags, otherwise he would not be able to move the gold and silver mountains now. Until more than 10 storage bags on his body were full, he took out the storage ring and started filling it. Not long after, all the storage rings were full. Fortunately, the spirit vein was finally emptied. A sweep of the divine sense showed that there were as many as 1.9 billion. I'm rich. Hu Han, you really let me take advantage of you. Su Chang'e laughed heartily, then took out a piece of scattered spirit stone and placed it at the gathering mouth of the spirit vein. This is the primer. As long as there is a primer, the spirit vein here will not be exhausted, and spirit stones will slowly be born again, condensing more and more, and it will continue to flow. Su Chang'e plans to patronize this place again when he runs out of money in the future. Then, he patted his butt and left in style. When he arrived in the outside world, he moved a big stone and directly blocked the cave. Then he moved hundreds of such big stones one after another, completely blocking the cave layer by layer, and then wrapped a lot of thorns around the outside of the cave, disguising it as a roadless mountain wall, and then left here with satisfaction. This is his own private bank, and he must not let others find it. A prosperous capital. A series of shouts rang out. Everyone, come and take a look. Come on, come on. Do you know what it means to have too much money to spend? That's right, I do. I have too much money to spend, so I might as well give it away. All of this is for you, take it. Su Chang'e stood on the street, his face flushed, took out a storage bag, and threw coins like crazy. Throwing those spiritual stones on the road as if they were worthless stones. Fuck. Oh my god, this guy is so awesome. Fuck, but I'm uneducated. I said fuck and walked down the street, throwing coins on the street. So awesome. Grab it, grab it. The whole city was in an uproar. Countless people were surprised and happy, they couldn't believe their eyes at all, and they were shaking with excitement. Then there was a scramble. Everyone rushed in like crazy, going upstream and starting to grab money. The street was in chaos in an instant. Everyone, regardless of gender, age or status, looked at each other with burning eyes and scrambled for money like crazy. Su Chang'e stood on the high platform, and after one storage bag was emptied, he took out the next storage bag and scrambled for money like crazy. However, after scattering for an hour, everyone on the street was full, but only 1/10 of it was scattered. Alas, it's really annoying to have so much money. He sighed. Everyone around him was envious and couldn't calm down. Su Chang'e suddenly had an idea and flew directly into the sky. In the eyes of everyone who looked at him as if he was looking at a god, the pressure in his body shook, and he took out all the storage rings at once, as if dumping garbage, with the mouth facing down, and scrambled for money like crazy. The manlingshire poured down like a bucket. The scene was like a sprinkler truck sprinkling water. Fuck. This is the real boss. Is there anything missing on your knees? Boss, please accept my worship. Boss, my worship for you is like the endless torrent of the river, and even more like the yellow river flooding and out of control. Kneel down to the boss. The whole city was shocked, moved, and excited. The scene was so hot, everyone's face was flushed and excited. Standing in the rain of spiritual stones, I only felt the innate excitement and ecstasy, moved to tears, looked up at the sky, and worshipped. Countless young women looked up at Su Chang'e, only feeling their hearts pounding, completely unable to stop. Su Chang'e smiled slightly, feeling that it was still too slow. He landed on the ground, flicked his sleeves, and controlled more than a dozen storage bags and storage rings like driving a sprinkler truck. Where he went, sprinkled. He was scattering money in front, and tens of thousands of people in the city were chasing after him, picking up money with sacks, one after another, flattering him eloquently, as if they were chasing a star, crazy as hell. Chapter 92. The perfect ending of throwing money. Xiao Shi breaks the golden body and steps on the DH. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. You sent out a mid-grade spirit stone. The 10 billion subsidy took effect, triggering an overcritical strike. This overcritical strike multiple, 426,000 times. Congratulations to the host for obtaining top-grade spirit stones. Ding. You sent out a mid-grade spirit stone. The 10 billion subsidy took effect, triggering an overcritical strike. This overcritical strike multiple, 438,000 times. Congratulations to the host for obtaining top-grade spirit stones. Ding. You sent out a mid-grade spirit stone. The 10 billion subsidy took effect, triggering an overcritical strike. This over critical strike multiple, 446,000 times. Congratulations to the host for obtaining top-grade spirit stones. Ding! You sent out a mid-grade spirit stone. The 10 billion subsidy took effect, triggering an over-critical strike. This over-critical strike multiple, 455,000 times. Congratulations to the host for obtaining top-grade spirit stones. Ding! Su Chang'e was throwing coins crazily, and in his mind, the system sound kept ringing. This subsidy not only has a critical hit in quality, but also a critical hit in quantity. The grade and quantity of spiritual stones have increased several times. Make a lot of money. Make a lot of money. Ha ha ha, cool. Su Chang'e took a deep breath, straightened his back, and was full of joy and high spirits. The sprinkler truck continued to sprinkle. The voice in my mind was also ringing non-stop. It took a long time before the coin sprinkling was declared over. The city was boiling, and countless people looked at him like the god of wealth, with deep gratitude and excitement in their eyes. No need to thank me, I am a great man in the world. Su Chang'e didn't wait for them to say anything. He threw his sleeves, left a word, and then left the cluster. Only a chic back was left. Countless people looked at his back, all of them worshipped, feeling that they had saved the Milky Way in their previous life, and they actually met this living bodhisattva. Panlong Mountain, in a forest. After leaving, Su Chang'e went straight back here. There was no one around here. He entered the system space in his white clothes. Master. In the space, Shi saw him coming in, and his eyes lit up immediately. She turned into a human form. The colorful gauze on her body fluttered in the wind. Her graceful waist was so slender that it was hard to hold, which aroused infinite reverie. She danced lightly with lotus steps and walked towards Su Chang'e with a smile. Her graceful figure was like a walking landscape. Su Chang'e pointed to the pile of spiritual stones next to her and said, "That's all prepared for you, absorb it quickly." The spiritual stones subsidized by the system are all in the system space. Cheng. After hearing his words, Shi's rosy lips opened wide, almost enough to fit an egg. She looked at Su Chang'e in disbelief and said, "So they are all for me?" Just now she was bored in the system space, and suddenly so many spiritual stones were dropped. She used the ancient bloodline to sense, but she couldn't measure the specific number. It's too big. She originally thought that such a large number was prepared by the master for himself, but she didn't expect it to be for her. "Master, you are so kind to me." For a moment, her snow-white cheeks flushed, as if a bunch of flowers were blooming on her face, delicate and beautiful, not only because of such a large number. More importantly, Su Chang'e wanted to help her improve her cultivation last night. She thought it would take at least 10.5 months, but who knew that he would fulfill it in the second day? The master is so serious about her. Could it be that she is his treasure? Thinking of this, her cheeks became more and more blushing. Her cheeks were red, and she looked down at her toes, looking very shy. "Absorb it quickly." Su Chang'e didn't know what she was thinking, and smiled lightly. "Okay, master." Shi was moved, walked to the side of the piled-up spiritual stones, and covered her white wrist with it. Buzz. In an instant, she only felt endless spiritual energy pouring into her body, and her cultivation soared. Boom. Breakthrough. The back realm, broken. Chi High Realm Level 1. Chi High Realm Level 5. Chi High Realm Level 7. Chi High Realm Level 9. Boom. Transformation Realm Level 1. Transformation Realm Level 5. Transformation Realm Level 7. Transformation Realm Level 9. Boom. Golden Body Realm Level 1. Golden Body Realm Level 4. Golden Body Realm Level 8. Golden Body Realm Level 9. In just a short moment, all the spirit stones were absorbed, and the surge in cultivation shocked Xian. "Woo, Master is so good to me. This huge amount of spirit stones actually allowed me to break through 3 major realms so quickly." Sensing the incomparable spiritual energy in his body, Shi's eyes lit up. But the breakthrough has not stopped yet. The cultivation in his body is still soaring rapidly, and it has soared to the peak of the Dharma phase, and then it just stopped. She is satisfied, feeling that she is living in happiness when Zheng, after the breakthrough, she began to check her changes. The originally fair skin looked even more tender, and the graceful waist became slender and slender, tall figure, autumn water eyes, slim nose, moist red lips. The crystal eyes sparkled like star gems, the facial features were beautiful, the eyes were like autumn water, the temperament was ethereal and calm, noble and elegant, like the 9 fairies descended to the mortal world. Su Chang'e touched her waist and wondered, why are there only 4 realms? He thought he had calculated it wrong, and quickly calculated it again. Later, Sihai, transcendence, golden body, Dharma image, divine palace. It is true that only 4 realms have been broken through, that's right. The next moment, he suddenly understood, Shi has a noble bloodline, so the number of spirit stones required for a breakthrough is naturally far beyond that of ordinary people. After all, he can cross so many realms and kill the Eagle sect leader in seconds just in the back realm. And now, although he has only broken through 4 realms, his true strength must be far beyond the Dharma realm. Thinking of this, Su Chang'e was immediately very satisfied, but there is still a regret, that is, the quality of the spirit stones found in this type of spirit vein is too low. If a large spirit vein can be found and high-quality spirit stones can be obtained, the subsidy will be much better than this time. At this time, Shi suddenly exhaled like orchids and said softly, Master, thank you. Su Chang'e patted her waist and smiled, there is no need to be so polite between you and me. Well. Shi lowered her head shyly. Suddenly, she thought of something again and whispered, Master, I feel a little bored in this space. I want to go out and take a look. Can I? Su Chang'e slapped his forehead, and then he remembered that Shi was almost bored in the system space. This is not good. Sure, come, I'll take you out to relax. Well, the master is so good to me. Shi was touched. Soon, the space fluctuated, and the two appeared in the woods. Shi only showed Su Chang'e her human form, so after going out, she changed into a dog form. As soon as she came out, Su Chang'e suddenly sensed something, and her eyelids twitched, looking into the distance. P.S. I saw many readers leave messages in the background, asking why there are so many realms in one continent, and it feels like it has reached the top. What's going on? I believe that many big guys here should also have such questions, so the author will explain it here. First of all, this book focuses on innovation. It is not the old routine of killing all the way from the world to the infinite nesting dolls to change the map. Everyone is tired of it, and I don't want to write this kind of routine. Secondly, this is a very large plane, the universe, and the sect where Su Chang'e is located has been explained in Chapter 10. Many people may have read it too quickly and missed it. The sect where the protagonist is located is the strongest force in this world, a powerful force hidden behind the scenes, that is, a hidden sect. It used to be a holy land, but now it is hidden. It is very arrogant. Any holy land outside is terrified when hearing the name, and dare not breathe. The realm of the sect Master Lin Wudi is very strong, at the Mahayana level. Many readers left messages saying that the protagonist was so powerful before the upgrade. Is it broken? No, the rhythm of this book is very stable, far from the point of collapse. Woohoo, all the big guys, do I understand? In addition, I would like to thank Dingyu, who loves to eat 8 treasure porridge soup, for giving another 23 yuan at 5 o'clock today. Woohoo, the author genie has a meal money. Woohoo. Chapter 93 Ji Chenyu. A pure girl who came to your doorstep. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Readers must read. Ji Chenyu is a female disciple prepared for Yi Qinyao, and is positioned as Su Chang'e's junior sister. What you see? A huge white-browed insect pounced on him. This is a tiger-eating tiger, which is more powerful, more brutal, and more bloodthirsty than a saber-toothed tiger. It is covered with yellow and black fur, majestic, like a giant, giving people a strong sense of oppression. Roar! In a flash, the tiger-eating tiger jumped and opened its bloody mouth to pounce on Su Chang'e. What's going on? Su Chang'e was a little confused. He didn't provoke this monster. Why did this monster bite him? Master, heart. Seeing the tiger-eating tiger biting, the tiger's eyes turned cold, and the blood of the prehistoric Xianxia suddenly erupted, the blood in the body boiled, the tendons and bones crackled, the wind rolled and the fog surged, and one claw tore forward. Bang, 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 that the airflow was torn and rumbled, like a thunderbolt in a clear day, cracking. The tiger suddenly paused. It felt an extremely terrifying power from this claw. It was a suppression from the depths of its blood. It was so frightened that its back suddenly felt cold and its heart was shaking. Hiss. Even though it was not a human, it took a breath of cold air and quickly turned around and fled in the direction it came from. In fact, it just smelled the breath of humans and wanted to come over to kill and eat flesh and blood, but who knew that this human was so terrifying just as a mount? While running away, it was also shocked. How powerful is this human? Even the monster beast with top bloodline is used as a mount for him. Big defeat, absolute big defeat. Can't afford to provoke. It was so scared that it turned around and ran away, but how could the tiger let it go? Dare to attack the master, you are looking for death. As a beast, she naturally understood what the tiger was thinking. If it ate the master, what would she do? Angry. Angry. Hated to the bone. Sizzle, the sharp claws tore the space into pieces like a mirror, opened cracks, and tore fiercely on the tiger. This claw, regardless of blood suppression or Dharma realm cultivation, the tiger burst out without reservation. Crack. Crack. Pop, the sharp claws tore through the tiger like a piece of paper. The tiger's skin and flesh suddenly made a series of cracking sounds. The tiger's skin was cut by this claw, and the sharp claws pierced into its body, hitting the dragon, and tearing its bones fiercely. Ah! The tiger screamed in extreme pain. The pain was piercing, and it was heart-wrenching. Crack, the sharp claws scratched inch by inch, and the body suddenly burst out with a creepy bone explosion sound, as if it was scratched by a sharp knife, and the bone fragments splattered, and blood rain burst, splashing around. Soon, the tiger was still. It was torn into two halves, and all kinds of red and white things flowed all over the ground. The remaining anger of the tiger was not over yet, so he walked forward and slapped its corpse with one palm. Bang! With one palm, the tiger turned into blood mist on the spot, and the ground was affected, collapsing downwards, forming a huge deep pit. The tiger was almost angry to death. How could he eat his master? He was really looking for death. After the tiger died, a crystal core with dazzling golden light floated in its blood mist. Su Chang'e took it in his hand, and when he touched it, he felt that it was scorching hot, just like holding a boiled egg. Another unexpected surprise. Immediately, he looked at the tiger and showed a satisfied smile. It has to be said that the grown-up tiger is too violent. If he finds a bigger spiritual vein next time and upgrades her to a higher level, wouldn't it be extremely terrifying? Suddenly, he suddenly thought of Su Lianyue again. The reincarnation of a saint will automatically increase his cultivation, and sure has the blood of the ancient Xianxia, which is so powerful. He has these two extremely terrifying guys around him. If he trains them all, he will be able to win even if he plays badly in the martial arts competition. Thinking of this, he felt happy and shouted loudly, "Awesome!" Sure suddenly asked, "Master, was I awesome just now?" Su Chang'e nodded with satisfaction. Awesome. Sure was so happy that he wagged his tail and shook his hips at him, extremely happy. At this moment, an excited voice suddenly came from a distance. Great, the benefactor is still here. Su Chang'e's heart moved and he turned his head to look. The person who came was actually the green-robed young man who had just been sent away. He was also leading a pure girl behind him. What is he doing here? Su Chang'e was a little confused. Has he been discovered? My benefactor must not have left yet. The green-robed young man took 2 steps at a time and walked forward, bowing and saying, "My dear brother, I just went home and thought about it. The more I thought about it, the more frightened I was. If it weren't for you, I would have died." Su Chang'e didn't understand and asked tentatively, "What do you mean?" The green-robed young man took a breath and said in fear, "There are many ferocious beasts in this mountain range, and the cave is no exception. I wanted to enter the cave, but fortunately I didn't. If it weren't for you, I would definitely be dead in the cave now." What a sentence awakened the dreamer. I will never forget your great kindness. That he recalled what happened just now and was still frightened. There are so many beasts here, how could there not be some in the cave? I almost died. Chang'e suddenly realized, after surviving the catastrophe, the green-robed young man was extremely lucky and grateful, and said sincerely, Benefactor, this is my sister, named Ji Chenyu, pure and beautiful, extremely beautiful, you saved my life, I can't repay you, I can only give my sister to you. That he pulled the girl behind him and said, Sister, come and meet the benefactor. That the girl was a little timid. Her beautiful face flushed, she lowered her head shyly, and said intermittently. Meet the benefactor. Chang'e couldn't help laughing, oh my god, this thing is, really fucking amazing. He looked up and down at the girl, only to see that her skin was as white as cream, her body was slender, her figure was graceful, and she was as pure and moving as snow on a tree. Although she was not a beauty that could topple a country, she was a jade-like girl, just like a girl next door. He is not a hypocritical person. The other party's sister has come to his door, so how can he refuse her? Is he still a man? Okay, then she will follow me in the future. Chang'e made a prompt decision. The green-robed young man was overjoyed, his face flushed with joy, and said, Thank you, benefactor. Turning his head, he began to say to Ji Chenyu, Sister, there are fewer and fewer good people in the world now, and good people like benefactors are even harder to find with a lantern. Entrust you to him, I feel relieved. Chang'e's mouth corners slightly raised, tsk, he has helped me to work on my sister's thoughts before I even opened my mouth. Hearing her brother's words, the girl lowered her head shyly and said, Well. She was actually looking at Chang'e just now. When she saw his extraordinary appearance and heroic appearance, she had already fallen in love with him, and a warm current surged in her heart and burst out. Chapter 94. Two opportunities appear at the same time. I will help you allocate them clearly. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sister, you will follow the benefactor from now on. No more nonsense, I'm leaving now. The green-robed young man left a word and left happily. Ji Chenyu stood there and lowered her head shyly. Benefactor, what is your name? She nervously crossed her index fingers together. Chang'e responded, and then said, Let's go, I'll take you back to the sect. The spiritual vein has been obtained, there is no point in staying here, it's time to go back. Well. Ji Chenyu's voice was like a mosquito's hum. Immediately, the devourer took them and soared into the air. Along the way, Ji Chenyu opened her mouth slightly and asked timidly, Su. Brother Su, where is your sect? That she didn't know how to call Chang'e, so she called him subconsciously. Chang'e said lightly, Not far away, Taishian Dao sect. What? Ji Chenyu's heart was shocked. She had heard some elders in the family mention this sect. This is a hidden sect. All the holy places in Kanglan realm would change color as soon as they heard his name. If anyone walked out of there, even if it was just an errand boy, countless big forces would have to give him face. At this moment, she was shocked that she had met someone from Taishian Holy Land by accident. Oh my! Ji Chenyu's eyes widened, her heart beat faster, and she couldn't believe it. Chang'e didn't care about her, and focused on getting on the road. After a while, he successfully arrived at the sect. Master, I suddenly found that after breaking through to the Dharma realm, my body seemed to be able to change size at will. In front of the mountain gate, Shi suddenly found that he seemed to be able to control his body shape freely. With a thought, she shrank a lot, as big as a teacup, very cute. Chang'e held her in his arms and said, Don't you want to see the outside world? Isn't that just right? Yeah. Shi nodded happily. At this moment, a sound of breaking wind passed in the distance. Chang'e turned around and saw that it was Xuanhuan who had returned. Is it such a coincidence? Xuanhuan had gone out to relax today, but he was so restless that he felt even worse. This feeling was like he had missed something in the dark, and his mentality was almost broken. He glanced at Chang'e with a sullen face, and then walked straight into the mountain gate without saying a word. At this time, ripples suddenly appeared in the space, and a powerful figure walked out. Honor, don't be upset. Your master will definitely find out who killed your brother. You must keep calm and don't lose your heart, that it was Du Sihai. Du Sihai knew that Xuanhuan was almost mad. Xuanhuan's anger was suppressed in his heart, and it almost became a demon in his heart. If it continued like this, I'm afraid his heart would collapse. While speaking, Du Sihai also glanced at Su Chang'e, then he turned his face away. It was just transparent, and he wasted this glance. Master, when you catch that man, I will eat his flesh and drink his blood to relieve my hatred. Xuanhuan's eyes turned red, and his teeth itched with hatred. Don't worry, I will definitely find that man, you come back with me first. Du Sihai saw him being tortured by hatred, and he was furious and took him away. Looking at the two of them leaving, Su Chang'e sneered in his heart, the enemy is standing in front of you, and you don't know it. Suddenly, he had a flash of inspiration. Hey, Du Sihai is at the level of the peak master, why don't I see if he has any opportunities? The opportunities of the peak master level must be much more terrifying than those of the disciples. He did it, he immediately took out half a spirit stone and awakened the Dark Soul Emperor. The air outside is so fresh, but when the Dark Soul Emperor appeared, he turned directly into a grain of sand and fell into Su Chang'e's palm. Help me calculate Du Sihai. Su Chang'e made a long story short, the Dark Soul Emperor glanced at Du Sihai's back, then closed his eyes and began to calculate. Soon, Du Sihai's fate was revealed. The Dark Soul Emperor was overjoyed, lowered his voice, and said, "Young man, great opportunity." Oh. Su Chang'e suddenly became interested. The Dark Soul Emperor said in a deep voice, Du Sihai has two opportunities recently. A few minutes later, he went to the black market and bought a treasure armor at the auction. The treasure armor is called Xuanhuan Ichi armor. This item is extremely precious, and its defense is no less than the Xuanhuan heart armor I forged for you. And the second opportunity is a powerful bomb, the Thunderbolt bomb. Once this bomb is detonated, the energy fluctuations that burst out will instantly explode a square radius of 10,000 miles, which is extremely terrifying. In the Middle Ages, there was a great man who could the developer develop this bomb. On that day, there was a loud bang, like thunder in the sky, which shocked the earth and directly blew through an ancient sacred mountain. Why Ruigyud? The Dark Soul Emperor became more and more excited, as if he remembered his glorious era, and said, after Du Sihai got these two treasures, he gave them to Xuanhuan in order to appease Xuanhuan. Then, at the martial arts competition a year later, Xuanhuan wore the Xuanhuan Ichi armor, stood on the stage and threw bombs mindlessly, suppressing countless talents effortlessly. Fuck. Su Chang'e's eyebrows jumped. Throwing bombs mindlessly, why does this sound so cool? Anyway, wearing a treasure armor, it can't blow itself up, so bomb as much as you want. Young man, forget about anything else. You must get this Xuanhuan Ichi armor and the bomb. Hurry up and go over to intercept them. Hurry up. Oh, no, I'm overdrawn again. I'm going to sleep first. The Dark Soul Emperor died before he finished speaking. Su Chang'e's heart moved and he immediately prepared to leave. Chenyu, this is my identity card. Take this to find master at Lihua Peak. Our master is Ji Chenyu. Find her and tell her the reason. She will arrange a place for you to stay. He took out a jade talisman from his body and handed it to Ji Chenyu, then rushed to the black market. It's not that he didn't want to take Ji Chenyu with him, but with her, he had to distract himself to take care of her, which was too much of a drag. What's the situation now? There are only a few minutes, and it's urgent. Brother Su. Ji Chenyu looked at the jade talisman in her hand, and a touch of emotion arose in her heart. She could see that Su Chang'e had an emergency, but before leaving, he still missed her and arranged everything for her before leaving. Ha ha ha, you are worthy of being a peak master, you have many opportunities, 2 at a time. Now, Lianer has the armor. I can also drop the Xuanhuan Thunderbolt bomb. In the clouds, Shi re-enlarged his body and flew high in the sky. Su Chang'e rode on her with a smile on his face. He has already thought about how to distribute these 2 opportunities. The Xuanhuan Ichi armor is given to Lianer, and the Xuanhuan Thunderbolt bomb is kept for himself.
Suddenly, he thought of something again, turned his head and looked at the sect behind him that was getting farther and farther away, and sneered, "Do Sihai, you haven't got these two opportunities yet, and I have even thought about how to distribute them. I will help you distribute them clearly." Chapter 95. Everyone was shocked. Du Sihai was shocked to get two opportunities. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just a few minutes after Su Changde left, Du Sihai from Taifeng suddenly felt blessed, and he secretly felt that he had his own opportunity in the black market. Walk, that with a wave of his hand, he tore the void apart, and a passage opened in the void. He stepped into the passage, merged with the void, and disappeared. The next moment, in front of Mangdang Mountain, ripples appeared in the void, and Du Sihai walked out of the void. At his level, teleporting through the void shouldn't be too easy. Soon, he put on a huge black robe and bamboo hat and entered the dungeon. It's just that the auction hasn't started yet. After entering, he has to stand in front of the door and wait. On the other side, Du Sihai just entered the dungeon. Su Changde successfully arrived at Mangdang Mountain. Ripples appeared in the void, and dozens of powerful and burly figures emerged. After they saw Su Changde's appearance clearly, they all bent down and lowered their heads, saying in unison, "Brother." Su Changde looked at them with satisfaction and nodded, "I want to go in." That the leader of the powerful figure came out last time, nodded to dozens of people, and said, "You guys, follow me in the 8-carriage sedan to carry my eldest brother in." Soon, such a scene appeared in the underground city. 8 powerful figures respectfully carried a distinguished sedan chair and shuttled through the void, and around the sedan, there were more than 10 powerful figures following, surrounding the sedan like slaves. The group of people descended in such a mighty manner. In the dungeon, everyone's eyes were wide open, with expressions on their faces as if they had seen a ghost. They were in disbelief and extremely shocked. Hiss. Damn it. What kind of boss is this? He actually asked the founder of the black market to carry 8 sedans in. Oh my god, am I right? Hiss. I have never seen anyone with such high skill in the black market. Worry, my eyes have been opened today. There is someone so awesome that I kneeled down. Phew. In front of the big boss, I feel like I don't even have the strength to speak. Countless people were amazed and felt that their hands and lips were trembling, then shut up hastily. How dare such a big boss-level person dare to make random remarks? Du Sihai looked at the sedan from a distance, with a puzzled expression in his eyes, and said in shock, "I wonder which big boss has arrived." Soon, the sedan arrived at the auction site with dozens of powerful figures leading the way. This is exactly where the last auction took place. At this time, the entrance to the venue was already crowded with people waiting for the auction. In 10 minutes, the auction will begin. Get out of the way, Big Brother is here, you idiots who don't want to die. The leader of the powerful figure shouted, and the entrance to the auction house was cleared instantly. Everyone moved out of the way, and the sedan passed through the middle. At this time, the owner of the auction house, Heilong, was preparing for the auction upstairs. He suddenly felt the battle outside and was shocked. Immediately after, the leader's voice from outside sounded, "Heilong, you are busy with your mother, you are so arrogant. My eldest brother is here, are you seeking death by thanking guests behind closed doors? I don't care what time your auction starts. If you dare to delay brother's time, I will make it impossible for you to survive in the black market." The sound was like thunder, spreading in all directions. Black Dragon responded quickly, "Heilong doesn't dare. Heilong will open the door right now." Boom, the door to the auction house opened, and Black Dragon personally greeted him. He bent down and said respectfully, "Boss, please come in." The powerful figure leader carried the sedan and walked in. Then the door banged and closed again. Just open the door for the boss, and others continue to wait. Outside, everyone was shocked. Damn it, the person in the sedan must be extremely noble. That's still useful. My mother, is she a key figure in a holy land? That's right, he must be a big shot from a powerful orthodoxy. Wait a minute. Could it be that the leader of Taishan Dao sect has arrived? As soon as this statement came out. Fuck. Hiss. 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 There was an uproar all around, and there was a whole row of uniform gasps. Du Sihai's heart was shaken, he took a breath of cold air and said in shock, "Be careful what you say. Be careful what you say. Don't make rash comments." At the auction. Before Xuanhuan got off the sedan, he had already transformed into a human form. He opened the curtain and said loudly, "Master, I am here to get two things. The first one is the Xuanhuan Qi armor. The second one is the Thunderbolt bullet. Get it quickly, money is not an issue." Black Dragon looked at the dozens of powerful figures, wiped the cold sweat from his forehead, and immediately said, "Senior, it is vulgar to talk about money. Since the boss is interested in these two things, then I should make friends with the boss." That he took out 2 gold treasure chests. They were heavy and had a buckle on them, which seemed to be where the mechanism was. The leader of the powerful figure took the treasure box and respectfully put it into the sedan chair. Xuanhuan opened it and saw that the first item was indeed a treasure armor. The entire treasure armor is made of real gold, with golden particle lines flowing all over the body. The infinite Taoist rhyme is spraying and flowing on it, like the fire of the scorching sun, sweeping across all directions. As for the second golden treasure chest, inside are 100 silver beads, about the size of a glass ball. Holding them in your hand, you can clearly feel the restless energy fluctuations inside. This wave of fluctuations is unparalleled, and the violent smell of gunpowder is coming to your nostrils. "I got the treasure, let's go." A voice came from the sedan. The powerful figure leader immediately opened the door, and 8 people carried Xuanhuan out of the sedan chair, soaring into the air and leaving the underground city. Countless people looked at this scene inside. Alas, we haven't even started the auction yet, and they have already taken the treasure and left in style. Everyone is not like this, comparing people is so annoying. I feel like I am just a piece of garbage compared to the boss. I wish I could hit my head against it and die. I think so too, alas. Alas. In the crowd, Du Sihai looked at the sedan chair that was gradually going away, and suddenly a sense of empty loss emerged in his heart, as if some treasure had left him in the dark, making him feel angry. Anger grew, and the dark and violent side was ready to move, but it was quickly suppressed by reason. He shuddered and realized what crazy things he was thinking. He dared to get angry at the boss, and he was tired of living. Xuanhuan quickly returned to Lin's face. He said goodbye to the powerful figure leader and then left the group. "Big brother, take care. Big brother, come often if you have the chance." The powerful figure leader said goodbye with a smile on his face. After Xuanhuan left, when he passed a dark forest, he suddenly heard something and his heart moved. A group of people are plotting. Old 4, Liuzi dug a secret passage in Kunlun Mountain. Who would have thought that there was an extremely huge spiritual vein buried under the mountain? Now you are the only one who needs to join the group. What do you think? Do you want to take advantage of him? P.S. I want to know, big guys, did you enjoy reading these 3 chapters written by this author? Chapter 96 News about the top spiritual vein. Reactor chain reaction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What the hell? Spiritual veins. What level is it? Shoo, speak louder, don't let others hear it. It's a huge spiritual vein mine. After 6 men squatted for 3 times, it was finally determined to be the best spiritual vein. It turns out to be the best spiritual vein. I need you to speak up. If the news leaks out, Liuzi's work will be in vain. I know, boss, do you have any plans? Of course, please listen to me carefully, that there are thousands of people in this group, all of them are armed with big swords and have very strong physiques. Xuanhuan glanced at it and found that it was a group of bandits who were robbing homes. I was just looking for the great spiritual pulse, but I didn't expect this to be delivered to my door. That he was extremely happy in his heart and eavesdropped carefully. After a while, I knew everything about the bandits' plan. It turned out that the bandit named Liuzi went to Kunlun Mountain and settled in a dormant cave made by a big snake, only to find that there was extremely rich spiritual energy in the cave. He tried to dig, and dug all the way to the bottom of the mountain, and found a spiritual vein. When the news came back, this group of bandits became excited and immediately made a detailed plan, preparing to go there in an hour and hollow out the spiritual veins. Unfortunately, the news has now leaked. Xianxia didn't talk nonsense and immediately rushed towards Kunlun Mountain. Call out, a sound of breaking wind sounded in the air, the bandit leader's ears twitched and he shouted angrily, "Who is this?" Crack, a big axe immediately chopped up the layers of air, stirred up the hurricane, and struck hard at Xianxia. Xianxia's eyes narrowed, there are too many people in this group, so why not just blow them up with bombs? So he shook his hand and threw a thunderbolt bullet mindlessly, but what he didn't expect was that the system's tens of billions of subsidies suddenly arrived. Ding! You sent a bomb that was about to explode, tens of billions of subsidies took effect, triggering a supercritical hit. The multiplier of this supercritical hit, 488,000 times. Congratulations to the host for getting a bomb that is about to explode. Boom! 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 Violent explosions shook the ground, one bomb after another exploded, and a terrifying mushroom cloud rose into the sky, the rolling shock wave spread like a landslide in tsunami, directly flattening an area of 100,000 miles. Within a radius of 100,000 miles, all vegetation evaporated instantly, lakes dried up, mountains collapsed, ruins were in disarray, and everything was devastated. When the explosion dissipated, the bandits were all gone, evaporated, the dense forest was also blown into a deep pit, with no grass growing. Xianxia was dumbfounded. Damn it, you don't play like this, do you? Fortunately, I was wearing the Panlong black gold armor, otherwise, holy shit, I was so scared. When he came back to his senses, he quickly looked at the bite, only to realize that the bite had already changed, and he had just subconsciously protected the bite in his arms. Master, thank you. Yen looked at him with admiration, his eyes filled with confusion. Woohoo, it's nice to have a master to protect you. Hey, the master smells so good. Call. Xianxia took out a long breath and understood, the first bomb is thrown out, and the system crit subsidizes it. Then when the first bomb explodes, it will also detonate the second one, and the second one can detonate the third one. This process continues, triggering a chain reaction. Serial bombing, damn, that's awesome. He suddenly seemed to have opened up a new world. Unlocked the correct usage of thunderbolt bullets. Every time you throw it out and get a critical hit, it will trigger this chain reaction, like a reactor, continuously bombing. The power is stacked up layer by layer, and it is simply awesome. He suddenly remembered that Hu Han dropped the bomb without thinking. But Hu Han can only drop one bomb. But Originally, the power of only one bomb at a time will be amplified by more than 40 billion times in my hands. 10 billions of subsidies for one bomb will take effect, and then trigger the multiplier of the supercritical hit. The subsidies will return hundreds of millions of bombs to bomb continuously. This power, holy shit, how awesome is it? Xianxia's face glowed red, he was surprised and happy, he was really happy. To be honest, he hadn't thought about this just now. He just thought it was too troublesome to kill them one by one, so he wanted to clear the area quickly, just like in a group. Just then the thunderbolt shells came in handy. Unexpectedly, it would trigger such an unexpected joy. Fortunately, he was wearing such powerful armor, otherwise he might have blown himself up. However, his powerful armor is just enough to allow him to throw bombs mindlessly without dying. This is so cool. Immediately, he didn't waste any time, patted the dust on his body, and left gracefully. Thousands of miles of clouds, the bite changes back to its original body shape and flies in the air. Xianxia rode on her and headed towards Kunlun Mountain. That was a big spiritual vein, he had to get it. Kunlun Mountain is 300,000 miles away from Zuzu, but the pair came here as if they were playing. Her figure was like light and lightning, and she arrived at her destination in a flash. The scenery here is not ordinary, the scenery is beautiful, the breeze is pleasant, blah blah. Xia, go down. After the transformation, the two fell to the ground. According to the conspiracy overheard, the secret passage that Liuzi dug is under a big willow tree east of Kunlun Mountain. Su Chang'e quickly came under the willow tree. Looking down, he saw that this was a flat land covered with a thick layer of thatch. Want to hide from others? Su Chang'e raised a shrewd arc at the corner of his mouth, and suddenly lifted the thatch. It was really thatch / This should be the snake cave. Su Chang'e jumped into the snake cave, and sure stood on his shoulder. The inside of the snake cave had been dug very wide. Su Chang'e glanced sideways and saw a python corpse beside it. It should be the poor snake, which was dormant but not peaceful. Fuck. Who are you? Suddenly, an angry voice sounded in the darkness. Immediately afterwards, the violent breath rolled like a wave, and the orange true energy roared like a dragon. A big axe chopped in the darkness. Chi chi chi. The wind was chopped and whistled. It should be Liuzi. Su Chang'e whispered, facing the fancy axe. He punched it. The strong physical strength instantly blew up the axe, sparks flew everywhere, and it was blown into powder. Stop. This spiritual vein is given to you, you just want to survive. Swish, the claws of the devourer tore out, and a thunderous tearing sound broke out in the air, instantly separating the flesh and bones of Liuzi, and his body was dead on the spot. Su Chang'e flicked his sleeves and walked deep into the secret passage. P.S. This chapter should thank the reader Dakan Spring, Summer, Autumn and Winter 2022 for the inspiration. Chapter 97 Picking Up Money with a Sack. Another private bank. Beautiful master. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Go deep into the secret passage. It is very spacious, like a wide road, and it is very easy to walk. Haha, Liuzi is such a good man. It is really good that he dug this secret passage. I will just pick it up ready-made. The spiritual vein is at the bottom of the mountain. Liuzi dug the secret passage for his accomplices, but in the end, it was a bargain for him. Su Chang'e was very happy and walked forward quickly. Suddenly, he remembered something in his mind. Wasn't the Dark Soul Emperor also waiting to pick up ready-made things? When he broke through to a certain realm, he would directly pick up the ready-made body and would not have to work hard to rebuild it. He was really cunning. It's a pity. He didn't know that he was being exploited by himself, and he was still stupidly complacent. After walking for about an hour, the light of stars appeared in front of him, which was extremely colorful and more dazzling than the agate god stone. It was crystal clear and dazzling, accompanied by a rich spiritual energy. Su Chang'e sniffed it gently, and immediately felt very comfortable in his body. His spiritual energy was full, and he was full of energy and extremely comfortable. This is really a top-grade spiritual vein. It's rich. He immediately sped up and walked deeper. Not long after, he could vaguely hear the sound of the river, like a big river, rushing endlessly, with turbulent waves, and even the sound of waves hitting the shore. Su Chang'e was overjoyed. This Ming spiritual vein is too big, and the water is rushing. He walked like the wind, followed the sound, and soon found the target. A huge river appeared in front of him, and the end could not be seen at a glance, just like the Yangtze River, with magnificent waves sweeping, and the sound of waves roaring into the ears. It's rich, it's rich. Su Chang'e was overjoyed, and immediately took out the storage bag and tried his best to fill it. Sure, you help me fill it too. He took out the bag and handed it to Sure. Although it was a top-grade spiritual stone, he naturally knew how to maximize the benefits. Give it all to Master, and brush a 10 billion subsidy. Then let Sure absorb it. Yes, Master. Sure turned into a human form, took the storage bag, and immediately loaded it up. The spiritual vein river was extremely long. Sure loaded it upstream, and Su Chang'e loaded it downstream. They were very excited to intercept it from both sides. It was like picking up money. Soon, the storage bag was full. The storage ring was also full soon, but there was still half of the spiritual vein left. It had to be said that there were too many large spiritual veins, not only of high quality, but also much more in number than spiritual veins. Seeing that there were still so many spiritual stones left that could not be moved, Su Chang'e didn't know whether to cry or laugh. I'll be back soon. He suddenly remembered something and turned around and left. He came back soon. There were hundreds of storage bags in his hand, all of which were searched from Liuzi. Liuzi prepared a lot of storage bags to empty the spiritual vein, but he didn't expect that in the end, he was actually making wedding clothes for others. Su Chang'e was in a hurry to take the spiritual vein just now, and forgot to search Liuzi. On this trip, he also found hundreds of thousands of spiritual stones, plus a number of weapons and elixirs. With more storage bags, the problem in front of him was solved immediately. The two of them did not waste time and immediately packed up in tacit understanding. As the saying goes, men and women work together and don't get tired. The spiritual stones were quickly packed up. Su Chang'e scanned with his spiritual sense and found that there were 9.7 billion. It was more than 3 times higher than the previous spiritual vein. And they were all top-quality spiritual stones. It's worthy of being a big spiritual vein. Then, he found the source of the spiritual vein along the Yangtze River. This is the root of the spiritual vein that exists underground. It is a spring with a bowl-sized mouth, which constantly gushes out white spiritual energy, and the spiritual energy continuously condenses into sparkling spiritual stones. Damn, I found a treasure land. Su Chang'e was so excited that he took all the newly condensed hot spiritual stones in one go, then left a primer and led Shi away. When he got to the outside world, he directly moved Kunlun Mountain with his physical strength, covering the entire Kunlun Mountain on the secret passage, completely blocking the secret passage. This is another private bank of mine. After leaving a word, Su Chang'e left in a chic manner. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Taishian Dao sect, Lihua Peak. At this time, Ji Chenyu, wearing a plain white long skirt, was holding an identity card in her palm. On the card were 3 large characters, Su Chang'e. Her beautiful eyes lingered on these 3 characters. This card was cast by her own hands 4 years ago, so after learning that Ji Chenyu was brought back by him, she immediately accepted Ji Chenyu as her son without hesitation, and told her that her identity in the future would be Su Chang'e's junior sister. In fact, she also liked this new disciple very much in her heart. She was watery and pure. Dong dong dong. Just then, there was a knock on the door. Ji Chenyu's heart moved. Could it be his disciple? After a little sense, it was indeed him. Disciple, the door is not closed, come in quickly. Yes, master. Su Chang'e pushed the door open and walked in. At a glance, I saw that Ji Chenyu was wearing a long skirt today, and her slender white legs were faintly visible under the skirt, so white. As white and tender as milk. Su Chang'e sighed in his heart, sensing his burning gaze. Ji Chenyu's fair and flawless face suddenly flushed, and shyly adjusted her skirt, saying, Don't look at me so directly. Su Chang'e coughed dryly and said, Master, you misunderstood me. How could I be that kind of person? Well, I know you are not. Ji Chenyu's pretty face flushed, like peach blossoms blooming all over the mountain. Just after she finished speaking, she suddenly found that her disciple's palm was touching her leg freely. This, disciple, you are not. That's right, I am indeed not that kind of person. I, Su Chang'e, act uprightly and openly. If you want to, then do it. Just thinking in your mind but not having the courage to do it is not my character. Ji Chenyu was stunned. Before she could react, she felt the breath of the man in front of her. Su Chang'e took her into his arms and said, Master, I will give you a big surprise. He took out all the storage bags directly. In an instant, white spirit stones flowed out like they were free of charge. Ji Chenyu suddenly felt like she was hit by a super jackpot. She covered her mouth fiercely and said in shock, My old man, so much money. A sweep of her spiritual sense revealed that it was a full 9.7 billion. This, disciple is really, ordinary. For a moment, her cherry mouth opened wide and she was in deep disbelief. Su Chang'e sorted out all the spirit stones, threw them on her face, and said, Master, don't be stunned. This money is for you. Take it. Without waiting for Ji Chenyu to reply, he took his arm away from her and turned away, leaving only a chic back. It was not until a long time after he left that Ji Chenyu came back to her senses. She stared at so much money blankly and felt like she was dreaming. At this moment, she suddenly felt a sense of loss in her heart. The disciple's arms are so warm. I really want to be held by him for a while. Chapter 98 Trillion Level. Xiao Shi transforms. His cultivation level is rising. He is catching up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the other side, Su Chang'e walked out of the door, and the system subsidy arrived on time. Ding! You sent out 9.7 billion top-grade spirit stones. The 10 billion subsidy took effect, triggering an overcritical strike. This overcritical strike multiple, 500,000 times. Congratulations to the host for obtaining top-grade spirit stones. Woohoo, you've made a lot of money. Su Chang'e was so happy that he couldn't stop smiling. It took him an hour to finally count the zeros at the end. The number he got, 485 trillion. Trillion level. Hiss. Terrible number. I'm rich enough to rival the world. With so many top-grade spirit stones, it should be enough for sure to level up many levels. Immediately, he found a secluded place and entered the system space. Master. In the system space, Shi was looking at the large area of spirit stones piled up like a mountain, and his heart was shocked. Such a terrifying number of spiritual stones, the spiritual energy that erupted almost condensed into dew, soaking her clothes a little wet. Su Chang'e smiled at her and said, "Shi, this is also prepared for you, absorb it quickly." Shi's eyes were red, her beautiful eyes were moist, and she was so moved that she couldn't speak. A warm current surged into her heart, spreading in her heart, infecting her. That she stopped her emotions and put her palm on the spiritual stone. Buzz, that a large amount of spiritual energy poured into her body, and then transmitted to every muscle and bone, as well as every meridian. Bang, that when the spiritual energy entered her body, her bones suddenly made a crisp explosion, and her spine transformed into pure purple gold, like a dragon bone supporting it, and her blood, pores, and skin were all stained with a faint purple gold color. The whole body is blooming with a luxurious luster, shining like the sun, and the eyes are emitting a dazzling light, like purple gold thunder, giving birth to infinite divine power, holy and vast. It was at the moment of the whole body transformation. The cultivation in the devourer body is rolling. The cultivation is rolling, driving the blood to boil. Blood moving level 1. Blood moving level 3. Blood moving level 5. Blood moving level 7. Blood moving level 9. Boom. 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 The roar like thunder exploded all over the body. In just a moment, the cultivation level rose straight to the 9th level of the blood-moving realm. And, not only that. A huge amount of spiritual energy is still pouring into the body. The spiritual energy is rolling, automatically driving the cultivation to boil. The 1st level of the Divine Palace. The 3rd level of the Divine Palace. The 5th level of the Divine Palace. The 7th level of the Divine Palace. The 9th level of the Divine Palace. Boom, half-step nirvana. When she arrived here, Shi took a deep breath, turned her head and looked at Su Chang'e. Her beautiful eyes were lively and emitting a moving light. Then she began the next round of absorption. Nirvana 1st level. Nirvana 2nd level. Nirvana 4th level. Nirvana 6th level. Nirvana 8th level. Boom. 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 The sound of the breakthrough was like a roaring wave, ringing continuously, and her cultivation level was catching up with Su Chenyu. After a while, the roar returned to silence. 4,850 trillion top-grade spirit stones were absorbed by her. Su Chang'e's mouth twitched slightly. You can really eat. It's worthy of the bloodline of the prehistoric world, so terrifying. At this time, the light on Shi's body gradually dissipated, and a pair of eyes recovered, regaining their bright colors, shining like gems with a moving luster. The whole person was radiant, and the breath was surging. Suddenly, a momentum burst out from her body. In an instant, this space was boiling, and the surging airflow swept, rolled over, and surged. One wave was not settled, and another wave rose, like a big wave washing away the sand, a tornado and rain. Master, I can clearly feel that the power in my body has skyrocketed. that with a light wave of his hand, the boiling space instantly returned to calm, as if waving his hand to smooth out the huge waves of the sea easily. Good. Not bad, Su Chang'e nodded with satisfaction. Next, he exited the system space. Shi had just broken through, and needed to give her time to settle down, and he also had things to do now. It took some time to go out this time, and I don't know if Liena was anxious. He immediately stepped back to the house. Along a road, Su Chang'e soon arrived near the house. Looking from a distance, I saw a figure looking far away at the door of the house, tiptoeing from time to time, looking into the distance, with sad and pitiful eyes, as if waiting for the return of the beloved. Seeing this, he couldn't help but walk faster. In a few breaths, he arrived close. Liena, I'm back. Su Lienue's heart moved. When she saw the familiar face of the person who came, all the sorrow and sadness in her eyes suddenly disappeared. The light in her eyes flashed and shone brightly. She suddenly fell into his arms and sobbed, "Young master, you are finally back." Su Chang'e only felt a warmth in his arms, which was the hot tears shed by Liena. He patted Su Lienue's back and said affectionately, "You are back. Let my Liena miss you." Well. Su Lienue hugged his waist and whispered, "I don't know what's wrong with Liena. When the young master is not here, Liena has no bottom in her heart and feels uneasy. In her current world, there is only the young master occupies all of her world. Su Chang'e understands this. When he is not here, Liena has no safety and happiness." He pinched Su Lienue's cheek and whispered, "Okay, don't cry, let's go inside and talk." At this moment, his eyes suddenly lit up. Su Lienue's aura was completely different from when she went out. She had already reached the cave realm. The first level of the cave. So fast. Su Chang'e was surprised and happy. At this time, the system entry appeared on Su Lienue's body. System prompt: the reincarnation of the saint has arrived at the cave realm, and the cultivation base has stopped growing. It is necessary to obtain the conditions for opening the cave to continue to grow. If the host finds the conditions for opening the cave for the reincarnation of the saint, then the host will get a more terrifying subsidy. Su Chang'e was delighted. It seems that I have to find an opportunity for Liena. This is not difficult. I have that silly old man with me, and there are opportunities everywhere. Suddenly, Su Lienue said, "Young master, I have reached the cave realm, but my cultivation base has not increased. I don't know what's going on." Hearing this, Su Chang'e gave her a concise explanation. After learning the reason, Su Lienue's eyes dimmed, and she said in a low voice, The things needed to open the cave are too expensive, which is not easy to do." Su Chang'e touched her head and smiled faintly, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." Suddenly, Su Lienue felt warm in her heart, and felt that the words of the young master were like a warm current that poured into her heart and filled the emptiness there. She raised her head and looked up at Su Chang'e with her bright eyes. Her pretty face was as white as the moon, and her eyes were full of light. "Young master. P.S. If you were to travel into this book, what would you most want to do? In addition, a big man who gave a gift yesterday will be randomly selected to thank. Thanks to, never leave a name when doing good things, for the Bobo Milk Tea." Chapter 99, Blood of Immortality. Knock on the door to immortality. Eternal life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You don't need to say too much gratitude, I understand. Su Chang'e touched her slender waist and said kindly. Su Lienue lowered her head shyly, her heart beating wildly, and her cheeks were flushed. The young master's hand was actually on her waist. Typhoon. Su Chang'e used the Taichu shadow ghost step and silently sneaked into the shadow of a big tree. People passed by here one after another. All of them were Typhoon disciples. Some went to the square to absorb spiritual energy, and some went to the training tower to hone themselves. "Senior, help me see." He had a grain of sand in his hand, and it was the Dark Soul Emperor. The Dark Soul Emperor looked at the disciples coming and going, carefully calculated, and finally shook his head. "These people are all opportunities, go somewhere else." Su Chang'e immediately changed the location. He went around and came to the meeting hall of Typhoon. At this time, many high-level people of Typhon were sitting in the hall, drinking tea and chatting here. Elder Lu, your disciple named Huang Jiulong is amazing. Since the sect master announced the martial arts competition, his strength has improved by leaps and bounds. No, he is just accumulating strength and then making a breakthrough. I'm sorry to make you laugh. Why are you being so modest? If he shines in the martial arts competition, then you, as his master, tsk, we are all so envious. Envy continued. Su Chang'e's eyes narrowed slightly when he heard Huang Jiulong, isn't this the one who challenged him at that time? I clearly remember that he said arrogantly that he would beat me to death in the martial arts competition. Swoosh! Just then, a sound of breaking wind sounded, a middle-aged man walked in. Law Enforcement Hall. All the senior officials stood in awe. The middle-aged man looked serious and said in a deep voice, our Peak Master is going to join forces with your Typhon to investigate the expert from Lihua Peak. We must find him out and find out who he is. Su Chang'e's eyes narrowed slightly. Are you going to investigate me? A senior executive stepped forward and lowered his voice, saying, Senior Bing's method is good. The two peaks are united. No matter how powerful the expert is, he can't escape. The middle-aged man looked gloomy and said bitterly, last time the Peak Master went back, her face was very ugly. Someone actually escaped from her hands. It's really hateful. My law enforcement hall has a very important position in the sect. There is no one who can't be taken. But this skirt is good, not easy to escape, but also left a face that makes the Peak Master lose face. Damn it, a senior executive of Typhon suddenly said, but that expert is hiding very well, how can we investigate him? Doesn't my law enforcement hall have to patrol every night? We can use this as a cover to search secretly, the middle-aged man said gloomily. When the time comes, once we find any clues, all the experts from the two peaks will come out together and make sure to capture him alive. The senior officials of Typhon saluted and said, no problem, but our Peak Master is now going to the black market to participate in the auction. When he comes back, I will report this matter. Okay, I have delivered the message, I am leaving. The middle-aged man took a step forward and his figure disappeared in an instant. Unknowingly, in the shadow of the pillars of the hall, Su Chang'e heard their conversation clearly. If I hadn't come today, I don't know if they would investigate me. But Su Chang'e didn't care much. Want to investigate? Investigate at will. Immediately, he focused on the opportunities of these senior officials. These are all senior officials of Typhon. Their status is much higher than those disciples. The opportunities must be good, right? Su Chang'e looked at them with shining eyes, as if he was looking at a moving treasure house. Senior, do they have opportunities? The Dark Soul Emperor swept his eyes over these high-level people one by one, and then began to calculate. After a long time, he shook his head and sighed, saying, yes, there is, the opportunity is not bad, but it is in other Dao domains, and it is not worth going a long way. Su Chang'e nodded. Among the 5 Dao domains, the East Dao domain is the strongest Dao domain, and now it is better to go to other weak Dao domains to find opportunities. Forget it, let's go to the training tower to have a look. Su Chang'e was slightly disappointed with no gains. Just as he was about to turn around and leave, a figure suddenly appeared outside the door. The figure ran in excitedly and said to a high-level person happily, Master, I broke through 3 realms in just 3 days. So fast. The high-level person's face was happy, and a proud look appeared in his eyes. The other high-level people around him all cast envious eyes on this high-level person. A good teacher produces a good student. Awesome. Really awesome. Who isn't? This disciple is the fastest growing disciple I've ever seen. It's rare to see one in 10 years. If I had a disciple like this, I would be satisfied in this life. Being praised by so many people, the disciple was very happy and said, Master, I came here this time to ask you for advice on my confusion in cultivation. In the shadows, Su Chang'e didn't pay attention to this person at first, but when he looked closely, he saw that this person was Huang Jiulong. It's really a narrow road for enemies. At this moment, the Dark Soul Emperor's eyes suddenly lit up and laughed. ha ha ha. What a good opportunity. What a good opportunity. Ha. Su Chang's heart moved, and he hurriedly asked, is it Huang Jiulong's? Yes. It's him, that the Dark Soul Emperor smiled and said, his opportunity is different from others. I just reversed it and found that he went out to travel 10 years ago and got a drop of immortal blood in the Longtan Mountains. Young man, do you know what the blood of immortality is? This is an extremely precious treasure. One drop, just one drop, can allow a cultivator to knock on the door of immortality and achieve immortality. What? Su Chang's heart moved. Knocking on the door of immortality, this is a treasure. The Dark Soul Emperor continued, as the cultivator's cultivation level increases, his lifespan will also increase, but no matter how high the lifespan increases, it is also limited, and it is impossible to achieve permanent immortality. But once you take the blood of immortality, your lifespan will be endless, and you will live as long as you do, and you will be immortal. Huang Jiulong is very smart. He knows that his soul power is weak. If he swallows the blood of immortality, it will easily explode and die. So he didn't swallow it, but hid the blood of immortality in his residence, and wait until his soul is stronger in the future. Now you just need to sneak into his residence and steal the blood of immortality, and that's it, hee, that the Dark Soul Emperor said, and suddenly showed a sinister smile. If this young man can knock on the door of immortality, then when I take over his body, I will be immortal. This wave of passive income is, so cool. As soon as this thought flashed through his mind, his figure suddenly darkened and he screamed, no, my spiritual power is exhausted again, young man, you go quickly. After that, he fell into a deep sleep. Su Chang'e secretly looked at Huang Jiulong, and felt that this person might be a treasure boy. I walked around without any gain, and was about to return empty-handed, but this guy came to my door. In this case, I won't be polite. Intercept, let's go. P.S. I'm so hungry. I knew I wouldn't write earlier. My family and relatives looked down on me. Everyone asked me what I was doing. I answered that I was writing, and they all laughed. I am a person who can write. How much money can I make? I don't think you can make any money, alas. No one thinks highly of me. This feeling is really hard, hashtag, but I will continue to write, never let it go unfinished, never leave it unfinished, and never give up. Chapter 100 The Immortal Blood is in hand. Exchange bricks. Leave in style. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Following a mountain road, Su Chang'e soon arrived in front of Huang Jiulong's residence. Huang Jiulong was very good at fighting and was very famous in Taifeng, so he had a high status and lived in a very luxurious, separate Qianglu. At this time, groups of disciples passed by the Qianglu, and they walked towards the training tower in groups of 3 or 5, laughing. Huang Jiulong's residence happened to be on the only way to the training tower, so there were always people passing by here. But Su Chang'e was hiding in the shadows, and these disciples were unaware. Suddenly, Su Chang'e saw a familiar figure, who was also rushing towards the training tower. Wang Wei, that person was Wang Wei. Wang Wei's cultivation was not very good, but he also wanted to take advantage of the martial arts competition to get some benefits, so he practiced intensively all night. After a while, everyone had left, and Su Chang'e quickly got into the Qianglu. Huang Jiulong is in the meeting hall looking for his master to answer his questions. He may come back at any time. I have to hurry. The building is decorated with carved beams and painted buildings, and all kinds of furniture are inlaid with precious pearls and agates. They are very exquisite and each one is worth a lot of money. Su Chang'e searched through boxes and cabinets and soon searched Huang Jiulong's residence inside and out, but in the end, he found nothing, whether it was the wardrobe or the box, they were all empty, with nothing in them. Strange, where would he hide? Su Chang'e patted his forehead. He remembered that there were countless routines written in the books of his previous life. Generally, the most dangerous place for hiding treasures is the safest place, but according to this idea, he found nothing. It seems that I have to reverse the process. He turned around and started looking for the most hidden place. The hidden place is very simple, it is nothing more than under the bed, on the floor, on the wall and so on. The floor has a hidden layer. According to this idea, Su Chang'e quickly searched the floor and walls. He knocked on the floor and the wall, and the response was heavy knocking. That is, these walls and floors are solid, and there are no secret compartments. After searching for half an hour, he still found nothing. Fuck, no wonder even the Dark Soul Emperor praised Huang Zhilong for being smart. He is really smart. Su Chang'e couldn't help but smack his lips, but he was not discouraged. If he couldn't even bear such a small thing, what was the point of practicing? After a little precipitation, he didn't waste time and immediately started a new round of search. Anyway, the Dark Soul Emperor calculated his residence, and no matter how well he hid, he couldn't run away. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door outside. Dong dong dong. Su Chang'e raised his eyebrows and quickly hid in the shadow of the wall. A deep male voice came from outside. Brother Huang, are you there? There was a dead silence. No one answered him at all. The man still didn't give up, and asked in a louder voice, Brother Huang, are you there? Su Chang'e really wanted to slap this idiot to death. Are you sick? No one is replying. Why don't you get out of here? The man outside seemed impatient, and pushed the door hard, and the door of the Qianglu made a loud clang sound, as if he was very unwilling. Just then, a man came over from a distance and said, Brother Huang is in the meeting hall. The man coughed dryly and said regretfully, Sorry, I thought he was inside. Then, the man fled to the meeting hall. Su Chang'e couldn't help laughing. Who was the second person who said that, who unexpectedly helped him get rid of that idiot? He stood at the window and took a sneak peek, and his eyes suddenly condensed. That man was actually Sikong too. Fuck, this guy is even more stupid than that guy. Su Chang'e sneered. After Sikong Tu told the man the current location of Huang Zhilong, he left as he had nothing else to do. He was going to the training tower. When he passed by here, he happened to see someone looking for Huang Zhilong, so he kindly reminded him. After Sikong Tu left, Su Chang'e continued to search. Soon, he searched the whole place, leaving no corner untouched. Unfortunately, he found nothing. Huang Zhilong was really too smart, and no one knew where he had hidden the things. Suddenly, Su Chang'e raised his head and looked at the ceiling. He had searched everywhere except the top of his head. Isn't the top of his head the ceiling? What if the inside of the ceiling is empty? Suddenly, Su Chang'e grinned. Smart, really smart. No one would have thought that the treasure was hidden on the top of the head. This is called extremely smart. He immediately flew into the air, approached the ceiling, and knocked and beat for a while. As expected, when searching the flower board near the corner of the wall, one of the flower boards made a da-da-da sound. This means that it was hollowed out. Ja. Su Chang'e exerted a little force, and the flower board was taken down, revealing a secret compartment at the back. The jade box was hidden in the secret compartment. Su Chang'e's eyes lit up. Ha ha ha, found it. He immediately took out the jade box and opened it. He saw a drop of golden blood suspended in it, full of the mysterious breath of ancient wilderness, with a strong pressure flowing, thick and unmatched, vast and vicissitudes. Buzz. Under this drop of blood, the space seemed to be squeezed, buzzing, and began to break. Su Chang'e hurriedly put the object into the storage ring, and then prepared to leave. Just as he was leaving, he suddenly thought of something. The corners of his mouth slightly raised, and then he went outside to find a brick and put it into the jade box. Zheng. Then he put the jade box back to its original place and covered it with the flower board. After finishing all this, he clapped his hands and left in style.